Hello everyone, this is Nirmala. Today the topic is about self-concept in social psychology. It is one of the important topic in social psychology because self-concept it discusses about the behaviors, characteristics about oneself. So how much we know about ourselves. So why this particular topic is important? Because if you know about yourself, you can very well mingle with other uh, social environment. You can work in an environment. So if you understand very well, you can better work in a organization, and also you can play a very good role as a leader. Okay, so for that, definitely you must understand your personal characteristics. You must know your attitudes. You know your self-esteem, whether you have high self-esteem or low self-esteem, whether you have positive attitude or negative attitude. So all this will help you in changing your behaviors, changing your thought process, everything. So that help you in uh, success in your life. It's also very important to be a successful person. You should understand yourself. Okay. So let us see what are the topics are covered in this particular unit. So first we discusses about what is a self-concept, and then what is self-control, and what is self-efficacy and self-serving bias, self-presentation, self-esteem, social perception, and then non-verbal communication, attribution, impression formation. So these are the important topics covered in this particular unit. Okay, let us start with the introduction, that is a self-concept. Self-concept is a set of beliefs we hold about who we are. So the self is first and foremost a collection of beliefs that we hold about ourselves. So if I ask you what are your important characteristics, so we'll just come up with characteristics like I'm very jovial, I'm very active, I'm very intelligent, I like chess, I play carom. So you put forth so much characteristics. So that is your basic characteristics. Sometimes we know about ourselves very well. Sometimes some inherent characteristics which even we might not know what others, maybe your parents or friends may share about your characteristics. Okay. Then you know what you're good at, you know the better what you're not good at, and so what kind of situations you prefer or what kind of situations you avoid, and finally you describe how your self-esteem, everything. So everything includes the self-concept. Okay. Okay. So when it comes to a family, how do your family describe your cultural identity to you as you are growing up? Yes, say for example, if you belong to a particular region, you follow some traditions, customs that is also involved in your self-concept. Then how did this ethnic identity influence the way you and your family related to your community and friends? So it has a certain kind of impact in your self characteristics. The family, the friends, the culture, everything has certain kind of influence our based on our self concept. And what is the impact of your ethnic identity on your self definition, personality, style, and relationship with others? Definitely, you'd have observed some of the people you admire, say, for example, your father, the mother, and you take those characteristics and you grow as you develop. I mean, you grow and you um, imitate, or sometimes the characteristics of them will, I mean, also will seen in your characteristics. Okay, by the observation. So how a child behaves by observing the adult, it behaves in a certain way. The way he talks, if you see a 2-year-old kid, you can see how he talks based on the parents, how he understands the language from the family only. So that way the self-concept also develops from the childhood as you grow. And so what is self-concept? It is your ideas, your perceptions, and feelings about who you are. It is a mental picture of your personality, and it can affect your behavior as well as your mental adjustment. Definitely, your self-concept definitely have some influence on your behavior and your mental adjustment. Okay. So if you have a, suppose, say for example, if you have very good positive attitude and positive person, you have a very jovial, I mean, you very well mingle with others, you be very jovial. And suppose if you are a negative, if you are having a negative feeling, definitely your behavior will reflect and you won't move friendly with others, you show anger. So definitely your ideas, perceptions, feelings about who you are definitely will have an effect on their behavior and the mental adjustments. So as I earlier said, how a development of self-concept, it starts from the childhood, from the infant stage. That is from you just see your elders and you recognize. Okay, so when you are a child, one he recognizes that he or she is a separate individual from others. And the personal qualities and the abilities you come to know after a certain period of time. And later on, what you after become adolescents, you become, I mean, you take certain decisions on your own. Suppose, for example, for uh, to choose a subject or your future or some other things, you from adolescent age, you take some decisions. But in infant and childhood stage, your parents have certain control and you take up their suggestions for your studies and other things. But during adolescent stage, and mostly most of them try to take decisions on their own about their future, about their studies and everything, even their life partner and other things. And after a certain period of time, that is around 30 years, definitely you become an adulthood, and that time you take decisions, you do things on your own without expecting others support. You do things, and also you very well support others at that particular point of time. So this is so, and each stage the self-concept keep on changing and slowly develops as you grow. So we also develop our self-concept through comparisons. As I said, we learn things from others, like from parents and family, from the place where you work. So the same way, we also develop our self-concept through comparison to other people. So there is a theory called social comparison theory. It states that we describe and evaluate ourselves in terms of how we compare to other people. Social comparisons on based on two dimensions. I mean superiority, inferiority, and similarity and difference. So always you compare. Suppose in your studies, your intelligence, in your physical structure, attractiveness, even your athletic abilities, and all those skills. When you take skills and when you your personalities, you compare other people, and sometimes you feel superior and sometimes you feel inferior. It based on the character you are, and also you have certain similarity differences. So based on the similarity and differences, you find friends, you find your partner, if you like. So how you find your friends? So person who is similar to your characteristics, who has a similar taste and other things, definitely you'll have a you make friendship with them. Okay, so social comparisons are based on two dimensions. One is superiority, inferiority. The other one is similarity and difference. Okay, the next important topic in self-concept is self-efficacy. What is self-efficacy? It is the extent or strength of one's belief in its own ability to complete tasks and reach goals. I mean, your strength. So everyone has a particular kind of strength. We can able to do that is a task. Okay. Also it's from the childhood experience. Self-efficacy will also change. Suppose your parents are motivating parents and they support you very well, then you will have a very good strength, belief, and you can reach very high goals. The same way, if you grown up in a situation where your parents are always negative and pessimistic, then your strength are a little bit comparatively lower to the people who are having a positive beliefs and positive attitudes. Okay, so so uh, so we cannot complete a task. So everyone can't complete all the tasks. So if you have an interest, you can able to do it. If you don't have the interest, definitely you cannot do it. Suppose you have here I have given an example that suppose if you like maths, definitely you show interest and you do it very well. Suppose if you don't have that much interest in doing maths, definitely you won't show much interest towards that particular topic. So self-efficacy is the extent of strength one's belief to complete the task. And self-efficacy refers to set of beliefs we hold about our ability to complete the task. Yes, I can do it. That but so definitely if you have a thought that I can do it, definitely you can able to do it. If you feel that I can't do it, I don't find it interesting, then definitely you cannot able to do it. And according to psychologist Albert Bandura, and the self-efficacy is the product of past experience, observation, persuasion, and emotion. Okay. And also, as I said, it is self-efficacy develops based on the experience, based on the observation, based on the persuasion. Sometimes your parents, well-wishers motivates you, persuade you to do certain things that is actually impact your self-efficacy. So, self-efficacy is linked to academic achievement, ability to overcome phobias. Okay. Some people may have some, say for example, stage fear. So if I ask you to do a presentation, some will do it nicely. They have that confidence because of their school experience and life experience, they do it very well. And some people find it difficult in present in front of the class because of the social background they grown up, in the school they learned. So everything it has an impact. That is a self-efficacy. So why self-efficacy is important? Self-efficacy has important effect on the amount of effort individuals apply to a given task. Someone with high levels of self-efficacy for a given task will be resilient and persistent with the face of setbacks, while someone with low level of self-efficacy, definitely they disengage and or they avoid the situation. If you don't like the job, definitely you won't do it. If you like it, if you very much interested, definitely you'll do it. That is the high level of self-efficacy and low level of self-efficacy. As I earlier said, for example, a student who has lower level of self-efficacy for maths might avoid signing up for challenging maths classes. So how we develop self-efficacy? It is very important. So at this stage, you can improve your self-efficacy, you can become a high-level self-efficacy person. This is the right time. Around 20 years, you can definitely improve your self-efficacy, can develop your self-efficacy. So in what way you can develop your self-efficacy? There are different sources of information we can develop our self-efficacy. One is our personal experience. So by observation, by seeing others, reading some motivational books, observing some successful persons in life. Okay, then seeing that, I mean, your friends, others, then persuasion, and someone in your family or someone in your school or in your college, they can persuade you, motivate you to do a certain thing. Automatically, your self-efficacy will improve and you can able to do it. And your emotions. Emotions will also play a role in developing the self-efficacy. The kind of emotions showcase. Definitely, I want to do it. I want to achieve it. So that kind of emotions, if you have, definitely you can So next topic is about self-esteem. And so last topic we discussed about self-efficacy. It's almost self-efficacy. So there it's about the strength to do a certain things. And here self-esteem is the attitude you have about yourself. Okay. It's the evaluation we make about ourselves, how we value the qualities and abilities we have. That is this self-esteem. So self-esteem is our overall attitude towards ourselves is based on success. Sometimes we have high self-esteem based on our success, low self-esteem based on some failures. Okay. And also different cultures, they define success differently. And based on accurate self-appraisal of strengths and weaknesses, our self-efficacy, I mean self-esteem will also differ. So this is regarding oneself as a worthwhile person. So how much value yourself? That is self-esteem. So it is mostly measured with explicit items as well as implicit. And I mean explicit means directly assess our perceived level of self-esteem. We have an overall sense of self-esteem as well as self-esteem in more specific minds. I mean, we may be good at one particular skill, we may not be good at another skill. So one might feel good about themselves in general, but if, as a writer or a vocalist, we may not, we won't, I mean, we don't have to be very good at that particular task or skills. Okay. So that is overall sense and particular demand. And we also have implicit self-esteem, which we are less cautiously aware of. Explicit is you know very well that you know certain things, and implicit is less conscious about. We were not that much aware of that particular strength. Okay. So other more implicit measures assess the strength of the positive and negative association between ourselves and stimuli associated with us, including the terms, I mean, traits such as warm, honest. We don't know. Maybe if others may identify and they tell you that you have certain skills, positive things. So people may not be aware of these implicit self feelings. And say, for example, when you're facing a big challenge, an author, Norman Vincent, offered by a book. The power of positive thinking is advice was simple. Tell yourself that you can do anything and you will. Tell yourself that you're great and you will definitely will become a great person. This is the words by the person, Norman Vincent Peale. And also there is a movie about Peale. So the motivation kind of movie. If possible, you just watch those movies and it gives you a positive attitude and a person with I mean, it's about a football player who becomes very successful, even though he gets some negative comments among the peers. Finally, he himself challenges and he does and he wins the game. Okay, it's about a sports person. Pele. Okay. So people with high self-esteem, they will have a very good awareness of their personal qualities and they positively think about themselves and they have certain goals in life. Definitely they will take feedbacks to self-enhance their skills and they have definitely have positive experiences. And people with low self-esteem tend to have very less clear self-conception. They think poorly of themselves. They don't have some realistic goals. And then they may be pessimistic about the future. And remember, they mostly behave negatively and they remember the past negatively. Whatever the past thing happened, whatever the negative things happen in their life, they keep on thinking those things and they react poorly to criticism. They never take criticism in the right way and they're more prone to depression. Okay, then what is self-serving bias? So it's like though we should have some good self-efficacy about self, sometimes people will have uh, the tendency for people to rate themselves as above average. I mean, though we cannot able to do it, we think of doing it in the right way or in a good way. So that is called self-serving bias. Then there is a topic called self-presentation. So self-presentation involves attempting to control the impressions we convey to others to obtain desired outcome. So how we present ourselves to others, the way we dress, the way we talk, the mannerisms. So suppose if you are going for an interview, so definitely there might be some change in your dressing, the way you talk, everything. You want to make a good impression in an interview. You present nicely with others. You want to succeed. Okay. So to be successful, we need to able to take the role of others. Sometimes, even though we don't have certain skills, we showcase that we have certain skills. So this helps us visualize how others will view and respond to our behavior. That's called self-presentation. So why people self-present? I mean, to make a good impression. Why they need to try to make a good impression? Because to the norms of the situation. So if you are in a particular office setup, you have to be mingle, you have to be socializing, you have to be friendly with your peer groups. So that is called conforming and self-promotion. I mean, information about themselves, conveying positive things. You always convey only your positive things to others. That is called self-promotion. You always suppress your negative characteristics or negative attitudes. You try to always showcase your positive attitudes and you share only your positive information to others. That is one way of self-presentation and ingratulation. I mean, flattering or doing favors. Suppose you want to get promotion, what you have to do? You always very good with your boss, even though you like the person or not. Definitely, you always flatter the person or do some favors so that you will get promotion. So that is called ingratitude. That is a kind of self-presentation. Okay, the next important topic is social perception. What is social perception? Socializing forces like family, culture, and media affect our social perception because they give us feedback on who we are. Okay, as said, some in certain things you know very well, certain things you may not know about yourself. So only through the feedback you came to know certain things. That is called how others perceive our things. Okay, socializing forces like family, culture, media affect our social self-perception because they give us feedback on who we are. Suppose you think very negative manner about you, but somebody says you have very good character, you do certain things very well, and slowly have a change of mind that yes, I'm good at these things. Yes, I have certain skills. I can showcase it. Definitely, you have a slight change in your personal self-perception. So this feedback can be evaluated positively or negatively. It can lead to positive or negative patterns that influence our self-perception. Slowly, sometimes even if you are good, sometimes they say that you are not good at certain things. Definitely, you have some kind of negative feeling, and definitely it impact your self-perception. That is called social perception. And we try to understand others' perception. One is understanding self-perception using the feedbacks of others, and we try to understand others current, I mean, we try to understand other person's feelings, moods, emotions, how they are feeling right now, what country. So how you know all those things? So one is through feedbacks you understand your self-perception, and how you understand others based on their moods, feelings, emotions, based on non-verbal cues involving facial expressions, eye contact, body postures, movements, everything helps us to understand others' emotions and behaviors. We attempt to understand the causes behind others' behavior, the reasons why they have acted in certain ways, their motives, intentions, and trends. Sometimes suddenly your friend might scold you, so you want to know the reason. Maybe you just try to understand why he behaves, and okay, something happened to him, so that is the reason he is behaving in a certain way. So that is called social perception. So then how you will understand others? So through non-verbal communication, through attribution, through facial expression, through eye contact. So these are the things you will come to know about others. So one of the important topic is non-verbal communication. You'd have studied about verbal communication, person-to-person communication, interpersonal communication, group communication, intrapersonal communication, media communication. So like that, those are all verbal communication. You communicate verbally using words, either through spoken words or written words. You communicate. But in nonverbal communication, without using words, you communicate. You reveal certain things that is called nonverbal communication. So information about inner state is often revealed through five basic channels: facial expressions, eye contact, body movements, postures, everything visually reveals certain things about ourselves. Face is the image of soul. Face is the index of mind. These are the proverbs. So our emotions is usually often reflected in your face. If you are looking sad, definitely your face will show up. If you are happy and energetic, definitely your face will show up. So all emotions will be easily shown in your face. What are the emotions we have? There are six different emotions. One is anger, fear, happiness, sadness, surprise, disgust. These are some of the emotions we normally express through our face. So face expressions reflect individuals' underlying emotions, and different facial movements are communicate changes in physiological activities. Studies conducted in many different cultures suggest that human beings all over the world tend to show highly similar facial expressions. So almost all cultures show a similar kind of facial expressions for the basic emotions like fear, anger, happiness, sadness. The next is the eye contact. So windows to the soul. So we do often learn much about others' feelings from their eyes. We interpret a high level of gazing from another person as a sign of liking or friendliness. So when you see a person, you can understand that very well. He's, he's liking in your conversation or is not interested. So all those things you can easily understand. Staring, a form of eye contact in which one person continues to gaze steadily at another person. The figure is called staring. So even like facial expressions, even through eye contacts, we understand the feelings of others. The next is the body language. So our current moods or emotions are often reflected in the position, posture, and movement of our body, in which provide us useful information about others. It often reveals others' emotional states. So large number of movements, especially which one part of the body does something to another, such as emotional arousal. So definitely our body language also plays a important role in uh, and showing our behaviors. Okay, your postures, positions, movements, everything has a certain expressions. Okay, next is the impression formation. Like non-verbal communication, impression formation is another topic important in a self-concept. What is impression? It's like, as I earlier mentioned, self-presentation. Impression is also uh, it's like self-presentation, an idea, feeling, or opinion about something or someone, one form without conscious effort. There is of mutual effect produced on something. Look at a person and immediately set an impression of his character forms at a glance. A few spoken words are sufficient to tell us a story about a highly complex matter. Okay. So impression formations like self-presentation, it gives you a positive opinion about yourself, the way you present yourself. The next important topic is attribution. So attribution is cognitive process by which people draw conclusion about the factors that influence one another's behavior. Okay, in the attribution theory, the cognitive process is used to explain the cause of their own and others' behavior. How do they interpret behavior being caused by or attributed to? What are the types of attribution? Dispositional attribution, situational attribution. So dispositional attribution means a person's behavior to internal factors such as personality, traits, motivation, ability. In general, people use this attribution to explain the success or others' failure. Situational attribution ascribes a person's behavior to external factors such as equipment, social influence from others. In general, people use these attributions to explain their failures or other success.